How's it going, guys? Welcome to my top 10 Pokemon list for 7th Gen. This was a really good gen, I think, coming off the heels of Gen 6, which was one of my favorites. I think they did a really good job. They kind of kept on with a lower Pokemon count instead of pushing out a bunch. And I think they did a really good job. There aren't any designs off the top of my head that I can think of that are really bad, and they're all pretty good. They came out with some pretty good gimmicks, and they're all well designed. I would say in between all the generations, it runs in the middle of the pack, but it's Pokemon, so it's not like it's a bad thing. Alright, so let's get started. My number 10 is Toucannon. He's just a toucan Pokemon that already kind of just puts him on the list. He's just a flying normal type. I wish they would have done a little bit more with him. He could have been a fire, not even fire, just really anything else to make him a little more interesting. Because he's got a lot of colors to him. I know he has like some attacks that kind of relate to fire, so I just wish they would have done something else with him. I think it would have made great sense because his beak already heats up and his name is like an obvious play on cannon. So I think it would have made a lot of sense. I mean, they already kind of referenced it a little bit. I mean, his beak heats up when he shoots seeds out of it. So why not just make him a fire type? And I get you can't really leave out the flying, but you might as well just made him flying fire. I don't think anybody would have complained. Trumbeak definitely didn't have to be in that line. It could have just been him and Pick-a-Peck, but I mean, I'm not going to complain, but I do feel like it could have just been those two. And they could have just put a little more into him to make him more interesting. It kind of sucks that you never really see him around. You don't see him in the games, you don't see him in the TCG, you don't see him in the anime really. I think that needs to change. I think he's pretty marketable. Tell me right now if you didn't put Toucannon on a box of Fruit Loops that you wouldn't go buy it right now. All right, my number 9 is Crabominable. It was actually Crabrawler, but I just think Crabominable is actually a lot cooler. Whoever made that name deserves a raise for real. That was an amazing name. I sometimes the puns just are just fantastic. Sometimes I don't know if the puns are first or if the Pokemon are first. In this case, I assume it's the Pokemon. But it was Crabrawler first, just because I think he was so goofy looking. He looks like a drunk guy in his 20s just trying to fight everybody, and that kind of carries on into Crabominable, which his origin story means that he got up to the mountains. I don't even know what he was doing up there, why he got up there, but then he eventually turned into this guy. He's really unique. He's fighting ice. I don't think there's really any other Pokemon with that types. I think he is unique, and then he has those paws on his pincers that kind of create the Yeti type of footprint. I think that's really cool. And again, to go with his typing, I just really like when Pokemon does that kind of thing. It just throw you curveballs where they just make one Pokemon something and then his evolution is something completely different. I always really like that, and I felt like that's what they did here. Because they really could have just done another Crawdon, Corphish type of evolution chain, but no, they went in a different direction, and I really appreciate it for that. My number 8 is Stuffle. He's cute. He's got a headband. He's pink. Pokemon just has really good luck with bear Pokemon. That's just such an easy Pokemon to make and have a cross between being really cool and still cute. I mean, they did it with Teddiursa, Pancham. It's just one of the easiest type of Pokemon to just make cool in any type of way. Aside from that, he is pretty one-dimensional. You just take it for what it is. It's just a cute bear. And Beware is pretty cool. I like his kind of background a little bit better. As far as oh, he loves to hug and he'll literally even kill you if you let him hug you. So that's pretty cool. But I never have wanted to use him. He's really annoying in Smash Bros, but never have I wanted to have one on my team. What really puts him over the top is that he has a freaking tag on him because he's a stuffed animal. That's his whole gimmick. That's what made him from okay, generic cute bear to okay, now we got something. If I could make one change, it would just be they should have something on the tag of the owner's name, just something unique. I mean, I don't know. Let's check it out. Let's zoom in and see if we find something. Okay, yeah, there's definitely something. Oh, never mind. My number 7 is Minior. Minior is just a cute little space meteor rock.
Well, he's not cute at first. He's just like a weird little rock thing. When I first saw him, I thought that was pretty clever. You know, Galar region, meteor, makes sense. But it's his shields down ability that really makes him unique. You know, he gets down to 50% and his shell breaks off. And you get this super adorable little rock thing with so much character. Well, I guess not that much character. He just has freaking swirly eyes and like a smiley mouth face. But just that alone, I mean, he was just so cute. I thought that was cool. And that's what I mean with Pokemon, is just adding that little bit of extra to it. And I think they really took care of that. And just doing something a little extra for him and not just throwing out a cute little rock. What I am upset about is that I didn't even realize until way later that you could get different colors. I just thought it was the pink one. I want the green one so bad. I don't even know how you get it. I'm not really good at like variants or finding like the different types or like shiny hunting. I'm not good at that. So yeah, I do want a green one. I still have only had the pink one to this day, but I want to try to get that one. Well, I wish it did evolve. Hopefully, you know, fingers crossed for the future that they'll have something for him. My number 6 is Golisopod. Alright, so for a little context, like, bug Pokemon are probably my least favorite Pokemon. I usually just think they're pretty uninteresting. I'll probably use them in the beginning like everybody else. I'll use them for a little bit and then kind of trade it out as soon as I get something better. So when I first saw Wimpod, I captured him. Obviously, you capture every Pokemon that you get when you're first starting like a new game, because you know you just want to catch them all, obviously. But you know, I put him away as soon as possible. I don't even know why I was using him at some point. I think at some point I just started to try to leveling up Pokemon and see what they look like, and I was grinding on him. I remember not wanting to do it, and then he evolved. And when he evolved, I was pretty sure it was gonna be worse. I thought it was gonna look like Omastar. My bar was pretty low, and then it turned into this huge warrior ninja looking thing, and I was shocked. I was like, what the hell is that? I had to like just make sure that like I just saw this happen. It was such a weird turn that I could not even believe what it was turning into. He was just really cool from the get-go. You could just tell how strong and like how much they put into this Pokemon to make it look like a threat. He looks machine-like. Guzma uses one. Another thing that really got me into it, because I play the TCG as well, is that Golisopod GX. That was my first GX card, and it put a lot of work for me. This is why they make everything coincide together, because if one of the media doesn't grab you, another one will. If I didn't see him in the game, I was definitely gonna see him in the card game. So Golisopod, definitely one of the top ones. One of the only bugs I will ever use, besides maybe, I don't even know. Nobody else, really. Just Golisopod. And if you've ever seen District 9, they look literally just like the monsters. That's the first thing I thought of. Is just that they look just like the prawns. So if you ever want to know what a real life Golisopod will look like, just go ahead and watch that movie. It's disgusting. They look disgusting. So maybe I wouldn't want to see one in person. In every generation of Pokemon, there's at least going to be some Pokemon that are just so out of left field that you just, every time you see them, you're like, man, they're running out of ideas, or I don't even know how they came up with that. I mean, we've had keys before, we've had eggs, but this is honestly like where I drew the line, because my number 5 is Buzzwole. Who made this Pokemon and why? I want to know who specifically is responsible for this monstrosity. I get it. Look, we're in the Galar region. There's like crazy Pokemon coming out of outer space and other dimensions. I get that. But this is a regular Earth mosquito who got in some protein. This is a buffed up mosquito. Whoever said, like, if somebody went into the office and said, hey, I got an idea. I'm going to make this mosquito just like really buff. And who would even say, yeah, you should go ahead and do that. Please do that. No, that is not what I want to see in my Pokemon game. And he's just honestly disgusting. And I don't remember the first time seeing him, but I just remember thinking that this is where I just can't even do it anymore. But kind of after all of the shock value and kind of knowing what I was seeing, I kind of liked it, because there's something in Pokemon where they just make it look so ridiculous, so dumb that you have to love it. And this kind of hits that stride for me. And I know I'm not the only sicko out there, because in 2021, Pokemon had a contest, like a ranking of all of them between all Pokemon, right? Not just that generation. And Buzzwole got number 8 behind Pikachu and in front of Oshawott, who he literally doesn't look like any of these. Again, in front of Buzzwole, we got Dedenne number 1. Why? Snivy, Magnemite, and then I don't know where Buzzwole. Where did he come from? He is not like anything like those Pokemon at all. I'm going to say that was a troll vote, and I hate you guys. My number 4 is Drampa. A little thing about Drampa is, honestly, he wasn't necessarily my favorite just because of his design or how cool he was. It's more of because who I thought he was. Every generation leading up to the trailers and stuff like that, I try not to see too much of it because they start to like reveal Pokemon and they start putting out new stuff, and I kind of don't like that. I kind of like to be surprised. But for this trailer, I kind of couldn't help it, and I'm watching, and then I see this guy. The first thing I think of is that's a Dunsparce evolution. There's no way. He's yellow, he's blue, the same color too, and he's like a snake. There's no possible way that's not a Dunsparce evolution. So I'm watching it, he looks cool, he's attacking, he looks menacing a little bit, and then his segment ends and it goes on to Bruxish, which I got a lot to say later for a different video. But I was really confused, like, are they waiting to make the connection? Is it going to be in game? Usually they kind of do tell you in the trailer because they did for a couple other of them. So I was just really confused. I kind of didn't get it. Also, I don't understand how you make this Pokemon and you obviously had to show it to other people, and nobody kind of made that connection to say, oh hey, we should probably just make them evolve into each other. In the end, I was pretty heartbroken to find out that he didn't evolve into him. I mean, that has changed now, thankfully, because I really thought we were never going to get an evolution, and I was thinking maybe I'm the only one who likes Dunsparce, but I know I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of fan art out there. A lot of people made that connection too, so I know I wasn't the only one. In the end, he is still pretty cool. He's like a Shenron type of dragon. I know it's like the Chinese dragon type of thing. I don't really understand the colorway. They probably should have made him green or something else to just, I feel like maybe I liked him a lot more because of who I thought he was, and that's maybe why he's higher up on the list. He's still pretty cool, so I don't think this is a bad spot for him. My number 3 is Guzzlord. Out of all of the Ultra Beasts, he's easily the best one. He's based on a black hole because of the Galar region, and honestly, this is the best version you could get out of that idea. He looks menacing, he looks crazy, he looks like a threat. Like, you just know that this guy is a problem. He has these 2 pincers and he has like an extra head on top of his like regular face, which is his weak point. He's a dark dragon type, which at first I thought he was like a jack-o'-lantern. I thought he was supposed to be like a pumpkin or something like that. Especially if you see a shiny, which is like orange and white. I don't know which one's better. I would probably say just the original one, but they're both really cool. He has that perfect balance between like being over-designed and like simple. Anything with pincers is really cool. He has like this cool look of like a crazy Crawdont or something like that. For some reason, the game really wants you to know that Guzzlord does not take shits. Like, obviously, because he's a black hole, he just consumes. Which to me is actually cooler because it means that whatever goes in goes somewhere. It doesn't necessarily, they don't get eaten. He doesn't digest them. So where do they go? Who knows? I really do hope that they dig deeper into like Guzzlord and just kind of have him more in the future, because Pokemon has like this knack of just introducing Pokemon that are really cool and then just leaving them alone forever. My number 2 is going to be Decidueye. When I got Rowlet, I already knew he was going to turn into something cool. I had no idea what it was. I'm really glad it's Decidueye. I think he is the best out of all the starters. Incineroar and Primarina are pretty cool, but there's just nothing about them that's really that exciting. I already liked Rowlet a lot better than the other ones because of its simple design. Litten was right there, just honestly because of his name, and he had like a pretty decent design. And then Dartrix is definitely like a middle form. He's not bad, but I could definitely see like the kind of clean transition of it. Very Croconaw, very Quilava. And then he turns into Decidueye, which is just one of the best starters that I have ever seen. It's very Greninja-like. It kind of reminds me of Noctowl, if like Noctowl evolved. And Noctowl is already a really cool Pokemon, so they just added a lot to it. He has a hood on. You don't really see that either. He looks really ominous. I can't say a bow and arrow is like the most effective weapon, but it is something that just makes the character automatically a lot cooler. And it's cool that it's not even like a weapon. It's just like he grabs his own quill and then he puts it off from his feathers. So I think that's really unique, and they put a lot of thought into that. I really like that they had him as grass and ghost instead of maybe like grass and flying, because you obviously can't take grass away because he has to be a starter, and he's like a flying type of Pokemon. So it would be kind of difficult to take that away, but I'm glad that they kept it at that because that's a really unique typing and not a lot of Pokemon already have that, let alone a starter that's also a ghost. He has a pretty cool Hisuian form or alternate, but I think the original is a lot better. I mean, really, he definitely deserves to be up there with like the Charizards, the Feraligatrs, the Greninjas of the starters. The only thing I would have liked better is that I do think he deserves to be in Smash Bros. More than Incineroar. I get Incineroar was probably a lot easier to make because I think he's kind of like Ganondorfish, so he was probably a lot easier to put in, but I don't think it would have been that crazy to make a moveset for Decidueye. He already has his arrow. I don't think it would have been too much effort. I think he would have been a way better pick. For my number one, it's going to be actually the entire line because I feel like they all just have to be together and I like each one of them individually just as much. And that's going to be the Vikavolt line. When I first saw Grubbin, I really wanted him just because he reminded me of Trapinch. I don't really know why, but Trapinch evolves into Flygon, and Flygon is one of my favorite Pokemon. So just with that relationship right there, I just decided that I was going to keep him. And he was really cool. There was nothing special about him besides him being pretty cute. And then he evolved into Charjabug, which I had no idea what to think about. Obviously, he's a bug, but I thought he would look like a little bus. And he has an accordion sound when he comes out, which is even weirder. I was also really surprised that he's bug and electric. I love those type of typings that you don't really usually see together. I know you can't make too many of those because then you're going to oversaturate it and then they're going to be like not that special, but I'm really glad they saved it for him. Also, if you just look at Charjabug's face, you can see like he has like weird eyes, and just kind of in the middle of him it looks like he has kind of teeth, and then he has those two little pincers in the front. So I already knew it was going to evolve into something crazy. I was a little worried at first because it wouldn't evolve by leveling up. I think I got up to like 32 or something like that. And then you have to use a Thunderstone on it. But once you do, it is worth all of the work. His design really just like speaks for himself. He looks strong. He looks fast. He looks menacing. He looks like a threat. I'm not like a really like competitive player or anything like that, but Vikavolt freaking wrecks. I don't think I've ever really been in a tough spot with him. And he's really versatile. He has like a really great moveset, being able to use like bug, poison, flying, electric. He really just gives you a lot of options. I think he has the best shiny out of this generation. The green is my favorite color, so I really like that on him, like the neon of it. And then the silver with it kind of makes him look like a jet.
And worthy of being number one for this generation.
That's my list. I feel pretty good about it. I don't think I left too many people out. Let me know what you think or where I really missed out. A couple of other ones that I wanted to mention, just because, again, I said that this generation, I think, was one of the best ones, and I like how much care they took for each one. So I just wanted to mention another couple one. Gumshoes, honestly, I don't know whether I like him or hate him. He's still kind of in the mix with me, just because I think he looks so funny, but he's also just really ugly. Rockruff, Lycanroc, they're pretty cool, just cool dogs. Salazzle, I really wanted to put in. I feel like I could have taken out anybody for Salazzle just because it just has that like cool lizard kind of feel to it. I wish they would have done a little more to it. I just feel like the design is a little bit lacking, but it's still really cool. Palossand is great just because of how dumb it is. It's literally like a sandcastle and it's a ghost, and I like that. Turtonator is really cool. I kind of wish they would have made Torkoal evolve into it. Maybe they could have switched it out a little bit. That would have been really cool. I like Mimikyu. I think everybody does. I kind of want them to go more into it. They do keep him around a lot, so of course I'm not surprised. So I'm pretty sure we'll see more of him in the future. Honestly, I keep looking at the list and I kind of like a lot more others too, like Marshadow, Magearna, Xurkitree, a lot of cool ones. But again, I think I just had pretty good reasons to why I chose who I chose. Again, thank you so much for watching my video. I appreciate it, and I see you next time.